Hello and welcome back to Every Last One, Every Last One. That's right, I'm in a new space just for today's video. What is the definitive way to enjoy the music on The Cure's fantastic 14th album, Songs of a Lost World? Streaming, Blu-ray, cassette, vinyl, and which vinyl? I think they released like 10 different versions. As I'm filming this, it's March 1st, 2025, the 4-month anniversary of The Cure's Songs of a Lost World being released. And last night, I had the best experience listening to this album, and I'm gonna share with you what format and version that was in today's video. But before we do, a little Songs of a Lost World history catch-up. On Friday, the 1st of November, The Cure's Songs of a Lost World was released. For years, fans weren't sure if this record would ever come out. Robert was teasing its completion as far back as 2019. In 2022, following COVID, The Cure would embark on a tour of Europe, and then in 2023, a tour of North and South America, playing out several of the expected songs from the album on the tour called Shows of a Lost World. Then 2023 drew to a close, 24 began, and we started seeing the usual Cure like reissues, art releases, basically all these projects that Robert's been distracting himself with for the past decade and a half. Finally, it would take his wife Mary firmly telling him he can't do anything until he finished the record. After some song shuffling and trimming with her help, we started to get the first hints of the Songs of a Lost World release campaign in September of 2024. When Alone first dropped at the end of September, I remember loving it even more than the live performances that I heard on the tour. My only gripe was how gated and compressed the drums sounded, lacking any dynamics. And really, the mix in general, while it felt huge, got a little fatiguing to listen to after a few plays. So the modern music marketing campaign then ramped up with Songs of a Lost World getting announced for pre-order. There was a myriad of different formats. Of course, all the diehards were just grabbing up everything like Blu-rays and cassettes and everything they could find. For my part, I thought I'd just pick up one format and chose the white vinyl from the band's website. Finally got to hear the album in its entirety, I think after it leaked on October 30th, playing it several times through and just loving it, including the 3 songs that we hadn't heard yet. I watched the Troxy live stream when it aired all the way through, loving the band's performance of the album, as well as the classics, rarities, and Robert's fun goof on Friday, I'm in Love. I kept going back to YouTube and watching End Song from the broadcast. I just loved Reeves' amazing solo. For me, it was a standout performance. Feeling the buzz, I ended up caving and grabbing the US marbled retail exclusive. I thought it was good, but that was at least until I saw the Blood Brothers heat-sensitive glow-in-the-dark. Grabbed that on impulse before it sold out. Now, I wasn't particularly sold on the sound quality of any of these 3 pressings. Like, I wasn't expecting the picture disc to sound good. Like, picture discs always sound pretty muffly and bad, but I was surprised that the marbled vinyl sounded worse than any modern release I'd picked up in recent years. Everyone was hyping the 2LP half-speed master version on YouTube and Facebook and Discogs. But I just couldn't justify a 4th version of this album, not to mention the shipping costs, so I held off. That was until they announced the Blood Red Moon version, which I immediately caved for. I couldn't help it. It's red. Didn't matter how this one sounded. Of course, this was also when they announced the Songs of a Live World physical release, so I threw that in my basket as well. At this point, I figured, well, I already got 2 more versions coming, might as well splurge for the 2LP half-speed master version as well. I think they also announced the A Fragile Thing 7-inch a couple weeks before, and I also ended up picking up that. So if you're keeping count, that's like 5 versions of the physical studio album, as well as the live version and the 7-inch single. As far as A Fragile Thing goes, I think this is a fun collectible. I enjoy both the mixes, and like the remix is better than a lot of the mixes that Robert has done in recent years, such as those on the torn down mixed up extras LP. Inner sleeve, and it's on white. Okay, now I'm going to discuss the sound quality, and for that I'm going to rank these based on my enjoyment. Last place is the marbled gray retail version. This one is mastered by Miles Showell, and I don't understand why it sounds so flat, brittle, and on End Song there's actually like this audible distortion towards the second half of the song on the vinyl. Like, I don't know, this vinyl really sucks. I couldn't tell if like I had to replace my stylus for a bit until I put on another record, and then issue went away. Still have the shrink on it, but inner sleeve. And apparently there's a darker gray version of this as well. This one's almost more silvery gray. Comes with a 4x12 Songs of a Lost World poster. All right, next is the heat-sensitive glow-in-the-dark Blood Brothers edition. This is the only Bernie Grundman version I've got. So I don't have the 1 LP black version to compare, but surprisingly, the picture disc sounds better to my ears than the marbled one. Still muffled, not uncharacteristic for a picture disc, but it's even throughout. There's no random noises like on one of the sides or during one of the songs. Plus, you get the fun of turning off the lights and watching the sculpture spin. Next is the white vinyl version. Sounds a little better, no weird issues, not as muffly as the picture disc. Still, it's kind of compressed. Not impressed with how it sounds compressed. Also not impressed with these seam splits. I have them on several versions, thecure.com. Not impressed with their shipping methods. At least the vinyl looks pretty. Next is gonna be Songs of a Lost World 2 LP half-speed mastered. I was surprised at this. This is another Miles Showell master, and again, I liked it, and I liked it more than the white one, but to my ears, there wasn't that much of a difference dynamically. I tried sitting in the dark and like listening to the one side that had End Song on it just on its own, and I do think they missed a trick not releasing this one at 45 RPM for even more bass between the grooves. Overall, it's better than the other 3. Train spotters will notice that it's a lighter matte gray, and it's a gatefold. First LP. Second LP. Get another poster in there. And so if you're keeping track, next it's Songs of a Lost World Blood Red Moon edition. For many reasons, for me, this is my favorite version. Why do I rate this one higher? Well, the sound quality is excellent. Maybe no better than the half speed, but to my ears, pretty much on par. You can listen to the whole album on 2 sides, and I appreciate that. And finally, it's the aesthetic appeal of the red vinyl and the unique cover art. To me, This will be my go-to copy to enjoy this album. It's a gatefold. First LP. Shiny. Second LP. Beautiful. But there's still one more release, and I'm gonna rank that even higher, and that is Songs of a Live World 1 LP. Robert has said in interviews that he felt the band may have played a bit too rigid, as they weren't quite that familiar with all of the new material. But I find the performances captured here to be as good or the best I've heard from anything in their current era. That is, since Jason Cooper's been in the band and they've been playing with the click track, like there's only so much push and pull momentum that you can get when you're playing with one. But Simon's bass sounds super grungy and powerful. Reeves' solos are far better than on the album. The tremendous wailing solo he performs on End Song is just one for the ages. This recording is my favorite version of Songs of a Lost World. Yeah, I know, it's missing Robert's harmonies and a few other little embellishments, but the tone of the drums is sharper, Reeves is on fire, and the final mix presented here, even over the excellent broadcast audio from Troxy, is just so open and detailed. Overall, this version of Songs of a Lost World is the one to get if you're wanting an overall less dense and muddy mix. While some of the newer variants of the studio album are an improvement, the studio versions are still incredibly compressed. And you really notice this when you play the live version or really just any record right after. I did first listen to the streaming album of Songs of a Live World back in December, but the vinyl mastering for me makes this a joy to listen to. And because this is available domestically now at just any record shops, I would highly recommend fans to go out and grab it. Should have done the same myself. Got this from thecure.com, another seam split. Beautiful cover art. Beautiful pictures on the inner sleeve. Beautiful center labels. 4 months on, production niggles aside, I'm still thoroughly enjoying this album. Last year, it made my #2 on my top albums of 2024. Watch that video below if you want to see what I picked as my #1. I don't think anyone had on their bingo card that we'd be getting a classic Cure record to end 2024, let alone seeing this long-touted album released at all. I love the casual pace of this record and the resigned elder statesman Robert Smith lyrics, the themes, the lush orchestral arrangements, and the booming drums really tie it in with some of the Cure's best work. And the mantra-like brooding emotion of End Song, for me, ranks it among my favorite Cure songs of all time. I'll be attempting to tackle a list of my favorite Cure songs soon, so keep an eye out. So, that's gonna do it for today. Before signing off, I wanted to mention that this video marks 4 months of me being on YouTube. I started this channel randomly one day after seeing so many people driven to share their thoughts on Songs of a Lost World online. So I was inspired and made my own video and was surprised so many people were watching it and leaving comments. Not to mention the follow-up Cure videos I did, and that was it. I guess I do YouTube now. I never imagined there would be 500 people signing up to see a mid-40s guy nerding out about his vinyl collection. Gotta say, it's certainly been easier getting people to watch me waffle on about bands than get them to listen to my own music. Although, if you've been watching my videos, you've been listening to it, whether you know it or not. So thanks to those who have come back for multiple videos. I've got plans for deeper dives into post-punk, new wave, and of course I'm going to be talking more about The Cure, what with the head on the door turning 40 this year. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing so you don't feel any FOMO about all of my upcoming content. Thanks for watching. You can see more of my videos right here. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you guys in the next one.